Hello. So, so this is the summary session for all the topics we covered till now for the entire 12 weeks. So here we'll be discussing 5 minutes approximately for each session, and we'll be going through the topics covered in each session. So let's start with the session 1. So here we discussed about the different types of industry: primary industry, secondary industry, tertiary industry. So primary industry, which uses the natural resources of obtaining the goods. Secondary industry, this use the goods which are produced from the output of the primary industry. Tertiary industry, it involves the industries which comprises service sector, and here also we discussed on uh, sugar industry example, which is the output of the sugar cane. So thus it is a secondary industry. Okay, so next uh, next will be like this is also one more question based on primary, secondary, tertiary industry. We also discussed on the Gantt charts. Well, this is the Gantt chart is a very important part. This is the time versus activity chart. Here, uh, the effective in the Gantt charts are mostly used for the load distribution to machine and workers, how the load is given to different machines and workers, which helps in the effective scheduling. We also see the time for which a machine or work is free, which is idle. That is the percentage of time for which a man or machine is being utilized. Next, we uh, learned about the Thablegs. This is Thableg is discussed a micromotion study. We also learned about the facility layout, product layout. What is the facility layout? In the facility layout, the facilities are arranged as per their functions. The product layout, raw materials will be passed to the machines in sequence, and at the end we will be getting the product. So facility layout is ensures the smooth flow of the resources, integrated in such a way that the flow of the resources to different divisions, functional groups, and the job is done in the minimum possible time at the minimum we have also discussed in our upcoming sessions, like work study is the combination, is consists of the method study and work measurement. Work measurement again consists of this time study, work sampling, standard table method, and method study is uh, study on the methods followed or improvement of methods, while work study, work measurement, it uh, measures or quantifies the time which is utilized in the work, in putting the work. Okay, so moving forward, um, we discussed the value analysis techniques, this which has the major goal of reducing the cost of item being produced. We focus on various designs and production aspects related with a particular product or service, which helps in reducing the cost and ergonomics. This now next is the objective of an organization. The objective of an organization is division of roles and responsibilities, create a communication between different layers like top-down approach, bottom-down approach, coordination of efforts for people for goal realization. Now, um, and so when we discussed about this organization, we know that this is like we had various types of organizational structure, like matrix organizational structure and matrix of matrix network for team-based organizational structure, matrix organizational structure. Each project will have independent policies and procedures, authorities and responsibilities that shared. This is one of the type of matrix organizational structure. Next is we discussed on the standards for better work method, how, what are the better standards for better work method, like assigning work as per competence, data collection, standard for workers, data collection. Next is we discussed on the multi-story building or single layout buildings, and single layout buildings are essential. Multi-story buildings are preferred where we have less space and where usually the single where there is no such where space restraint is there and there is less type of there is no uh, threat of pollution to the environment and where we also require multi-skilled laborers. Okay. Next is we discussed about the tall different types of organizational structure such as top organizational structure, top down, bottom down organizational structure. So this was overall some important points on the first session. Also, and we also discussed about the difference between accountability and responsibility. Accountability means the state of being answerable for satisfactory completion of the job which is to be done by the particular position responsible for the job, while responsibility is the obligation associated with an individual position to perform the assigned task. We'll discuss on the different topics covered in the second live session. Those were uh, different methods, weightages used to assign, uh, the factors and sites, factor rating method, point rating method, uh, some questions on that. Then we moved on to the different types of division structures, functional structure, divisional structure, matrix structure, line and staff structure. So there was a question, there is a question on the automobile industry wants to open centers in different countries. Then the structure followed by the industry is divisional structure. That is, it organizes the people around the output or the geographical location. So, okay, in this uh, in this mostly there was also some questions on division based like divisional structure based on geographical location and based on output. Next, there were also some question on departmentalization. What is the function of departmentalization? Like how the different employees and their activities are grouped. That is departmentalization. Next is okay. So the next is we discussed where the situations of various industries can be like a nuclear power plant is usually preferred in a desert because of the hazardous effects it may have on the environment. A tidal power plant is, must be situated on the Bay of Bengal. So, situation of a power industry based on this requirement. Uh, in this session, we mostly discussed on the break-even analysis, which was fixed cost, variable cost, total cost, and we solved some questions related to that. So I will just open a question related to the break-even analysis. Yes. So break-even analysis is an analysis used to analyze cost-revenue relationship with respect to production volume. So what that happens is total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. Total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable and variable into number of items. So profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. So break even point is equal to fixed cost by selling price minus variable price. This is about break even analysis. So we solved many questions on break even analysis, which you will get in the slides. Okay, so I have solved in the slides. You can refer again if you have any execution as per the requirement, and if a skilled labor is required, then the industry must be situated in the city or near to the city area. And if multi-floor buildings and skilled manpower are needed, then the preferred plant location is city. Okay. So now we will go to on discuss the third session. Let's start with the third session. So in the third session, we discussed on the load distance method, how to solve the question using load distance method. This was the question on the factors to be minimized, and how did we consider weighted loads and coordinates of the like we how the sites were selected according to factor reducing method, center of gravity method, point weighting method, load distance method, and break even method. Then we did a question of return of investment, and we found out how which site will be most economic in terms of economy. So return on investment is equal to sales minus expenditure by initial investment. So here in this question, three sites were given, and the different expenditures were given. So by finding out, we found out the initial investment was provided in the question, whichever had the maximum return of investment, that was the most effective in terms that site was the most effective in terms of economy. Okay. So the next question was a process of plant. We discussed on the process layout, plant layout, questions based on process layout and plant layout. So the process layout, the characteristics are machines are arranged as per their functions, variety of products can be produced, systematic flow of material across two operational areas. That was not a process split. It is for product layout, and general purpose machines are used. So next we'll question was the can't handle the breakdown of machines. Congestion may occur while processing. Throughput time is negligible. In process inventory is very high, unsuitable for mechanized material handling. So the drawbacks of process layout is entire production facility is not affected. It takes like here uh, it, throughput time is negligible. That is the product layout. Drawback here mostly congestion may occur while processing. In process inventory is very high and unsuitable for mechanized material handling. So that means there is no systematic movement of the material. We need specialized skilled worker because they need to handle the variety of the jobs, and also throughput time in job is really very long. That is why in process inventory is very high. Okay, so next is the layout in which congestion is minimum but complete production is stopped due to failure of one machine. That is product layout. So in product layout, the things are arranged in particular sequence. There is continuous and almost linear flow of the material from one beginning to end. But disadvantage is if there is failure of one single machine in the product line, the entire production is stopped. This was a very important difference between the process layout and product layout. Okay, so next is the, this is about a fixed layout. Fixed layout is there is no specific arrangement of machines. Basically, in this case, location of a major part or component of the material is fixed, and all the machines, labor, material are brought close to, and they will be processed near to the your component. So moderate variety and volume of the fraction are realized in a cellular layout. Like it gets some kind of fluctuation. Next is we also discussed some characteristics of cellular layout, minimum and process inventory, more job satisfaction, reduced job flow time. Now, here we also discussed on yeah. This is another question we also discussed on return on investment, that is sales minus expenditure by initial investment. Next is these are some of the factors which we should consider for selection of a regional location. market availability work study. Out of this, market availability is the most important criteria when we select a location for any sort of plant industry or process. Okay, so these were some of the major questions which we came across in the third live session. Next, we'll discuss on the question, important points of the fourth live session. So in the fourth live session, we discussed on again on little bit on product layout, process layout. So there is a question where it asks a similar type of machines are placed together in process layout. In process layout, we have the similar type of machines, but in product layout, there is sequence of operations or process which is followed. Therefore, if one machine fails, the entire production is stopped in a product layout. But in a process layout, it doesn't happen in that way. Facilities are arranged according to the type of operations, performing similar type of operations are grouped together in a process layout. In a product layout, machines are arranged according to the sequence of operation to be performed on a job. Next is, if we consider three important factors, what are the factors needed to be considered in the flow cost model? That is frequency, distance, and total cost of the movement. The flow cost model is quite important because here we know what kind of cost will be occurring on account of handling of the movement material, movement of the operator, distance to be traveled, and cost per unit distance. Next is, we also discussed on the flow matrix, proximity chart, low cost approach. So these are various methods. Flow matrix helps us in identifying the work centers where the movement is maximum. Proximity chart is a graphical method for understanding the relationship between two work centers. Low cost approach, it considers what kind of cost will be occurring on account of handling of the movement material or movement of the operator. Okay, so in this session, the most important is line assembly. Line assembly, it is a sort of a balance assembly where operation at each workstation is the same. So here the jobs are assigned to different stations in such a way that it takes almost equal time to complete the job. so that efficiency of the line can be improved. So here we assign some work time to each workstation, and then the workstation, the activities are balanced so that we have minimum number of workstations, and we also calculate the idle time in each workstation, so that we can balance the minimum number of workstations. Okay, so what we do is we make the we balance first the balance the activities, and then we calculate the idle time, then we calculate the minimum number of workstations, which is ideal for that complete activity. Okay, next we also here discuss some advantages of multi-story building over single-story building. That is, it is mostly favored when the land cost is high, light size products are required, and not very heavy machinery is required. So major is for the manufacturing of light goods, mostly we prefer multi-story building. Okay, so if someone asks what is in automobile industry, which layout is mostly preferred to manufacture vehicle, it is the product layout, because the vehicles need to be manufactured according to the sequence of operations to be performed on a job. For overhead space requirement, the preferred type of building is obviously it is a highway building, so that we have very good ventilation, natural lighting, very long roof is available. When heavy structures need to be moved or used in the building, a lot of overhead space is needed, because for efficient material handling. Next is we did some numericals on yes, we did some again questions on plant layout, gravity flow method, and question which is based on electrical equipment manufacturer produces 80 units during a regular 8-hour shift. So it asks for line balancing the number of workstations required for each activity. So what we do here is we first find out the time taken to produce one unit, and after it is found out, we find out the number of workstations, that is the standard time, number of workstations required for each activity, that is found out by the standard time divided by the time taken to produce one unit, and the minimum, then we arrange it according to the work, according to the time, which is more or less. Okay, so now we'll be moving on to the next question, as these were the important parts covered in this session. So let's start with the next question. Next session. So in the fifth live session, we discussed on a line assembly question, and elaborately also we discussed on the material handling equipment, like what is the continuous movement, interrupted movement, and here we saw also what are the features of hoisting machine, where it is used for continuous movement or intermittent movement, forklift, chutes. Next, we discussed or elaborately on the production planning and control. What is production planning? What is control? So, production planning and control, both the major aim is to provide the organization quality products to the customers at a very competitive price, with the proper standards. That is the major aim of production planning control. So after this, we also discussed on the long-term capacity planning, short-term capacity planning, aggregate planning. So aggregate planning follow the aggregate planning. Uh, so planning of quantity and timing is identified when the different or subcomponents will be needed. So the major aim of aggregate planning, it helps in minimizing the cost input to production system, identifying kind of labor and material which will be needed for a smooth production. Next is we discussed on what is capacity planning. Capacity planning means it seeks to match demand to available resources. Here resources the provision allocated to meet the demand. Now, next we discuss on short product life cycle and uh, long product life cycle. Short product life cycle is for the fast changing technologies, new futures, new technologies. So here we are uncertain of technological advancement. While look like in in these cases, we for the long term for the technological advancement, the long term capacity planning strategies are difficult because we do not know what will be the changes which will occur. While in the last question here, we discussed on the long-term capacity planning. Here, long-term capacity planning is difficult due to uncertainty uh, which will come across due to future demand. We do not know how the product will be uh, met with future demand, how the product will have its growth, and what will be the forecast in future. So that is why we know that long-term production planning will always face some uncertainty. Next, in this we discussed on a question clearly on line balancing. Yes, this is the question. Here we had some tasks and durations. So we did the line balancing. We first balance the line, then we made 5 workstations. We calculate the station time for each one. Then we calculate the idle time. And after that, station. Then from that we found out the optimum number of workstation. Next is here we also did a question on the design capacity would decide. We saw the difference between the design capacity, system capacity, actual capacity, and from that we calculated the plant utilization, which is the actual capacity by the design capacity. So this is the question on the plant utilization. Next, we discussed elaborately on the aggregate planning, and okay, this is we also discussed a little bit about the effectiveness of the material handling. That means time applied in the material handling or time required to move the material by the total time to produce. So this is the effectiveness of the material handling. Okay. So these are the important topics which are covered in the fifth live session. Now we'll move on to the next sixth live session and discuss the important topics in that. So in the sixth live session, we came across the material requirement planning. The objectives of material requirement planning, which helps in reducing the inventory, reduces the delays in production, reduces the lead time delivery, increases the efficiency of the production system as a whole. Next, we also discuss the different sequence of operations in production planning and control, which is routing, scheduling, dispatching, follow-up. So this we also discussed in last class. Again, just a follow-up. Routing is the flow of work for the material in the course of production. Scheduling it to the time when particular work will be started or finished. Dispatching, this comes in the action phase where the commencement of the production takes place, and for this where whatever the relevant orders are there to the shop floor to start the production, that is given to dispatching. Follow up is close observation of the execution. It involves the follow up to see what is the current status of any job at any time. Next, again, a question on reading. Next, we also discussed some loading. What is loading? It is assigning the work to the facilities. It is about determination or identification of the assignment of jobs to specific machines or to a work center or a facility. Here we discussed on so we discussed different processes of job sequencing, which is earliest due date or shortest processing time. In the earliest due date method, we arrange the jobs in according to their due dates, and then we calculate the job flow time and the tardiness by tardiness is the job flow time, production time, job flow time minus the production time. Then we found the number of tardy jobs, average tardiness, maximum tardiness, total flow time, max span time. These were the things found out in earliest due dates. Similarly, for the we solve for the shortest processing time questions on shortest processing time. Now, earliest due date, the jobs are processed in sequence of the increasing order of their due date. The shortest processing time, jobs are processed in sequence of increasing order of their processing time. Now, sequencing is a subset of scheduling. Like in sequencing, we determine the order sequence of processing of jobs at a facility or plant or a machine. Now, this is very important. Critical ratio. Critical ratio is the due date by processing time. If the critical ratio is greater than 1, the job is being done ahead of due date. If the critical ratio is less than 1, job is being done behind the due date, and the critical ratio is equal to 1, job will be done exactly on time. Now, this is a question based on the shortest processing time. It minimizes the shortest processing time. The topmost priority is given to the job which is having the minimum processing time. Here the jobs are arranged in order of their increasing processing time, and then the production time and due dates are written according to the increasing processing time. The flow time is calculated, and subsequently the tardiness is calculated. If the tardiness is less than the production time, there is no, the job is not late, and if the tardiness is more than the production, if the flow time is more than the production time, there is tardiness available. Now, further Now, sheet, root sheet gives us information about the specific production order which is being processed to give the desired output with the due date. Next is we came across a Gantt chart. It indicates the load which has to be given to a particular kind of machine, how long a particular job will be done. Again, we discussed on the effectiveness in material handling. Now we also did a question based on the least critical ratio rule, where the jobs are to be processed in a sequence. Now we found the critical ratio for each job, and according to the least critical ratio rule, jobs were arranged, processed according to the order of the increasing critical ratio. So these were some of the important topics discussed in session 6. Next, moving on to the next session. Talking on the important topics covered in session 7. So, in session 7, we came across the inventory control. So, benefits of inventory control. These are improvement in delivered customer economy in purchasing, discount against bulk purchase. So here we dealt with the fluctuating lead time possibilities. So inventory means during the lead time, the item in stock can be used for smooth production so as to supply the demand to the customers. And with respect to discount against bulk purchase means what when we can get the items at a lower price for a bulk purchase. So next we solve some questions on the EOQ model, which is the carrying cost, ordering cost, shortage cost. These are the formulas. The ordering cost is D by Q. D is the demand by number of orders into ordering cost per order size. Q is the order size, D is the demand, purchase cost, ordering cost, carrying cost. These are the relevant costs. So now ABC approach for inventory control is there are three categories, where the first category is the high value item needing about 70 to 80% investment. Category B is the moderate value item, around which will be around 10 to 15%, and the volume will be around 25 to 30%. Category C is high in volume but low of value. Now, large sign of inventory is a sign of inefficiency. Functions of inventory are to meet the anticipated demand, quick advantage of order cycle, to take advantage of discount. So if we have a large size of inventory, that means our production process is not smooth, or our we are we have comparatively less demand. Now, economic order quantity model is also known as Wilson-Harris model. Here, we first Q is equal to root over of, this is the order size, this is order sizes, economic order quantity, this is root over of 2 into D. D is the demand, C is the ordering cost per order, CC is the carrying cost per order. This is the formula. So now economic order quantity is directly proportional to square root of ordering cost. Also, gradual replenishment model. This is a model where the inventory buildup is when production is more than the demand, so delivery is made in parts, and it is gradual, not instant. Entire lot is not delivered in instant. Now, this question, there is a question where the demand is given, C0 is given, CC is given. We just find out the economic order quantity, which is root over of 2D C naught by Now, another question, where the optimal number of orders per year is asked. So here, optimal number of orders per year means the annual demand by economic order quantity. The annual demand is given, that is in the question we have divided by finding out the economic order quantity. Now in this question we find out there is a demand is given, ordering cost is given, carrying cost is given. Here, apart from the normal EOQ, number of orders per year, time between orders, we find out the reorder point by uh, by taking out demand into the lead time, which is given 1 month. Okay. So here we discussed various questions of economic order quantity and ABC analysis. Now, this is one, the loss due to a non-availability of inventory is termed as stock out cost. This is the stock out cost is there when there is inventory is not available. Now we will discuss on the next session important question. The eighth session we discussed on the critical activity. So in critical activity we have various dummy activities in a network which are which do not consume any time and resource. They are used to preserve the residence relationship, and it is used to satisfy the precedence relationship, and it is used only when it is very necessary, or there is no restriction on the number of dummy activity that can be used in a project network. So here in this year we discuss on critical path method and project evaluation review technique. So critical path method, project evaluation review technique, these are network based approach which is used to assist planning, scheduling and control of the project. PERT is based on 3 time estimates to complete an activity, that is T0, TM and TP. T0 is the optimistic time, TM is the most likely time, TP is the pessimistic time. Now expected time is T0 plus 4 TM plus TP by 6, and uh, mm, what is mostly used for uncertain projects. Now, critical path method is used to find out the total duration needed to complete the project. This here we have classification of activities of project as critical and non-critical activities. So this is a type of how it looks in a critical path method, like project which constitutes an activity. Activity has a tail event and head event, and project is a group of interrelated activities that are to be performed in a proper sequence, and the activity is a part of project that consumes resources and time, and events are used to show starting and finish of an activity. So we have early, like early early start time, late start time, early finish time, late finish time. This is again a uh, part part activity which follows a normal approach. This is the moving average where maximum weightage is given to the most likely time. Now here, this is uh, the earliest finish time for three activities are given. We have to find out the earliest start time. So here, earliest start time is the maximum of the earliest finish time of immediate predecessor. So with like with the type of critical path method. Now here we have been given the optimistic time, most likely time, and pessimistic time, and we have to find out the expected time, which is by PERT method. So with the formula, we find out the most expected time. Now, the critical path, the project variance for critical path is R. So in this, we have to do the sum of variances of critical activity for the critical path only. Here, the standard deviation value of all the activities have been given, but we have to, if the project variance is asked, then we have to find out the critical path which is given and find out the project variance for the critical path only. Now here the probability determination factor is asked. This is target minus mean by standard deviation. The mean standard deviation and target is given. We find out the Z, probability determination factor. Now, this is fundamental of crashing. Crashing is an extension of critical path that considers the compromise between time and cost required to complete the project. Now, there is also direct costs and indirect costs related with crashing. Next is a question based on the critical part. So here we have to draw the network diagram and then find out the critical part by finding out the completion time and giving the time for each part, and then subsequently we find out the critical part. Next, we come across a question where we have to draw the network diagram, where the network diagram is given. We have to find out the early start time, early finish time, late start time, late finish time for each activity, and with after doing this we find out the latest start time of activity. So these were the important points in the session 8. Next, we will discuss on important points on session 9. Session we discussed on the again on CPM part little bit. Now CPM part, what is the common functionalities in CPM part? Both are required in planning, scheduling, and time estimation. Critical path is a network of activities cannot be delayed, because if it will be delayed, the entire project will be delayed. Now, we also discussed on forecasting. Now, forecasting is an estimation of future demand on forecasting methods also. Now, the time series forecasting method, it gives it consists of this constant or level trend or increase or decrease cyclic variation, seasonal variation, irregular variation. Now, constant level demand model, it consists of simple average method, weighted average method, simple moving average method, weighted moving average method, exponential smoothing method. So some of the these are all the methods, and we discuss the questions also on all these methods. Now, exponential smoothing method is the only method which takes care of forecasting errors. Okay. So here we have a smoothing constant alpha, weighted average moving average method. Here the weight is not constant, while in simple moving average method the weight is constant. Next, we discuss some all more concepts on forecasting, and we discuss this question on simple average method where equal weights are given to different, and the forecast is found out for a particular month as so here the different forecast for January to June are given, and the forecast for July has been asked, and the weights are equal. So we put summation of all the weights is equal to 1, since n is equal to 6, weights is 1 by 6. This is the simple moving as simple average method. Next is the exponential smoothing forecast. The higher weightage is given to the recent demand information. So the smoothing constant must be close to 1. Next, this is the question on forecast exponential smoothing method. Here the demand for April May is given, forecast of April is given, and it is asked for the forecast of June. So here first we find out the forecast of May by putting all the data. Again we find out the forecast of June. Now here the smoothing constant Similarly, we have smoothing constant alpha and beta for forecast and trend also. This is the question where the smoothing constant is given, forecast value, actual value, and the smoothing constant for the trend is also given. So with this we find out the new forecast and new trend. Next we also discuss on some questions of critical path method also. Here is the question where activity is given. We find out the early start time, early finish time, early start, late start time, late finish time for all the activities, and thus find out the early start time of the activity H in the given network diagram. Now, this is a question of a linear regression method. It is an iterative method procedure in which series of questions is given to management and staff, and based on this, a common value of forecast is decided. The formula is Na plus BTI. We'll also solve questions based on this in the coming session. The 10th session we discussed on the mean absolute deviation, mean square error, average error, bias, mean absolute percentage error, and tracking signal. So these are the formulas for all these errors. So here next is, in this question the mean absolute forecast error is asked. Here the demand is given for 2 months, forecast demand is also given. The mean absolute forecast is mod of demand minus forecast by total number. With this, find out the mean absolute forecast error. Next is, this is here we derive for the linear regression model how we get the formula, and after derivation linear we little bit discuss on quality assurance. Okay, these are the 9 dimensions or independent parameters related with quality, that is performance, features, conformance, reliability, durability, service after sale, response, aesthetics, and reputation. Now we come across the control charts for attributes and variables. Now this is the control chart for attributes. This is the C chart, P chart, NP chart. Now this is the control chart for the variable, which is X bar chart, R bar chart, control chart for variable. This is based on the nature of the character, we do not quantify variables, we quantify them, but for the attribute we do not quantify them. We discussed a little bit on the fishbone diagram, brainstorming, battery diagram, and flow diagram. Okay, this is the question which we solve for the time series model using linear regression analysis. So this is the week is given and the unit sales of the corresponding weeks are given. We find out the time CI square and CI yi. With this we find out the first constant. After finding out this constant, we find out the same for the 6 and 7. Similarly, one more question for the casual series model. Yes, we find out the population is given, the xi, number of computer demand is given yi. So we find out xi square, xi yi, summation of xi square and summation of xi yi. With this again we find out the a b constants. After finding out the a b constant, we put in the analysis model and then we get the data demand for the out, find out, count out the chart. Mean absolute deviation means square error tracking signal for each month. Forecast and demand is given. We find out the DI minus FI, DI minus FI square, mod of DI minus FI tracking signal. So first we find out the mean absolute deviation means square error tracking signal for each respective month. When the tracking signal for each respective month is found out, we find that in the numerator our DI minus FI summation it gets on increasing as per the month. So we have to be careful in this area. Okay. So now I will discuss important points in the next class. Points covered in session 11. So in session 11, we found out the coefficient correlation. It tells us how much percentage of data falls in the line of potential trend variation. Trend variation means increase or decrease. So this how much percentage we get on the line of graph what is in the trend. Now we also discussed the quality technique, total quality control, total quality control, foreman quality control, operator quality control, inspection quality control. Next, we discussed on the control chart for attributes. Control chart for attributes are C chart, P chart, and P chart. Okay, this is a question where we had we have to draw the Pareto chart. So here, what we did is we first drew the chart. We first made the graph like we gave the count in x-axis and percentage in y-axis and the reasons in x-axis. Now we made the cumulative percentage. Now after finding out the cumulative, accordingly we draw this chart. Now this is we discussed about statistical quality the wastage. Further, it also reduces the cost because we will be reducing the waste. So we will be increasing the productivity and the number of rejections will be reduced. Thus, aviation and quality characteristics is reduced. Now these are the 9 performance quality standards. Now here this is also question on tracking signal. They mean absolute deviation is given, actual and forecast demand is given. Now the tracking signal is asked. This is error by my absolute deviation. The error is forecast actual demand minus forecast demand by mean absolute deviation for that particular time. So that is here it is solved in this way. Next, we find this question on mean squared error method where the actual demand forecast demand is given and we find out for the 3 periods and add it and get the mean squared error. Now also we discussed on the forecast seasonality. Forecast seasonality is the seasonality index into average demand for each session. Season. Now control limits in process chart is defined as limits driven by the natural variability of the process. As cannot be so when the random variation in the characteristics occurs, this is called natural variation. Here the output of the process is called the common variability or the chance variation occurring to the chance process. So when the points are falling random here and there is no systematic trend or pattern. So the control limit in the process chart is defined as the limit driven by the natural variability of a process. Now this is a question where the upper control limit and lower control limit is to be found out. This is the control chart for variable. The upper control limit is equal to x bar plus a2 r bar. X bar is the average of the mean value coefficient which is identified using the number of items in a sample or sample size. Now, higher value of P bar indicates P bar means fraction of the refractive items is increased. So P bar is equal to number of defects by total number in a sample. So when P bar means higher means the fraction of the respective item is increasing. There is the quality of the things or products or services which are being produced is deteriorating. Now in this case, the management needs the intervention in form of expertise, in form of better machinery or better procedures. Now, these are the important parts, point to discuss in session 11. Moving on to the next session. Okay, so in the last session, 12th session, we discussed on the control limits again. We solved the question on the control limit chart using the three sigma control. So here we first found out the X bar, then we found out the standard deviation, the sample standard deviation was given, the sample size was given from the standard deviation. From that, we know that in 3 sigma mean method, Z is 3, Z is the probabilistic deterministic factor. Now from that we find for this type of model we know the upper control limit and lower control limit. That is X bar plus Z sigma X bar and X bar minus Z sigma X bar, for which this we get to know the upper control limit. Now, the benefits offered by control chart will see in the coming section. This is very important. Now, the fraction of defective items are identified in case of P-bar chart. Now, we also solve two charts in the end, one for control chart and one for okay. So here we solved a question where we wanted to find the probability of mean which will be less than 52.5 kg. This is the question. We followed the normal approach for this question, normal distribution approach. Next, this is the question. Here we have to draw the control chart by finding out the center line, upper control limit and lower control limit. Okay, so here we were given this sample and average part thickness, and the mean was given, standard deviation was given, sample size was given. So first we found out the standard deviation for the sample mean x bar. Okay, so for that we took the sample standard deviation by number root over of n. After that we found out the upper control limit and lower control limit, and we already knew the mean. So we drew all this sample in x-axis and thickness. We found out the range and we drew on y-axis. Then we found out the upper control limit, lower control limit, and center line. So with this we just found out the point and connected the point in with respect to the order. Okay, from sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, sample 4, sample 5, then this continues. Now for this question, all the values are within the control range. Okay, but now in the further coming question, same thing, we draw the center line, upper out of control, which is out beyond the range. Okay, this is the range. When we find this, we delete it, and we again find the center line, upper control limit, lower control limit, and this is the correct range, new range, which is the ideal range. So, and this whenever we find the some values out of the control range, then we find the new limit, which is used for future observation. This was the entire question, set of questions, important questions, which were discussed in the entire 12 weeks. I hope this would have given you overview and refreshed some of your concepts. All the best for your upcoming exam. If you have any further doubts, please feel free to ask in the announcement tab. If any of you can always find these videos and lectures uploaded for your reference. Thank you all for attending the session.